All right, I'm gonna get some reps in here on the Mantis X BlackbeardX or MCX. That's a lot of X, triple X there. We're just gonna do some open training drill here. Shooting at about 10 feet inside the house, just pointing at a point on the wall here. So I'm just gonna do a couple reps here and you guys can see how this goes. So pull my britches up, get a good stance, make sure my grip is good, make sure my eyes are on my target, and then I'm gonna begin. 68, that wasn't a good shot. It was worse. I know what I did. I went up and then came down on that, and the Mantis here will show us on the app will show us what I did. Actually, let's just look at that real quick. Yeah, came in real high and then came down. Usually I come up. I learned to be in the low ready. I spent a lot of years in the Army, so doing a patrol and you're always walking and carrying in low ready. So that's how I shoot, and then I practice doing what we call up drills. So coming from the low ready, coming up on the target and engaging the target. Let's see what that one looked like. So as we're doing this, the hardware inside the magazine, you got the accelerometer, it's measuring the movements that I'm doing with the rifles, and it's scoring you based on how efficient you are and how much movement you have in there. So you can see on that shot, I did really poorly. I shot a 47 out of 100 because I went way past my target, and then I had to correct and come back, and then the movement in blue is me moving to get onto the target, and then the yellow is when I'm starting to engage the trigger, starting to pull the trigger. So you can see even once I started to pull the trigger, I still had some movement as I was pulling the trigger. The muzzle of the rifle was still moving, so that's going to reduce my accuracy when I'm shooting. On a positive, the red is the follow through after I did the shot, and that usually is, if you have some good follow through, that will also help improve your accuracy. So I'm doing good on my follow through. Let's do another shot here. Back on safe. Try that again. I mean, I'm not even getting in the 90s, so I'm kind of sucking today, but I don't know, it's been a while. There we go, just snapping some shots off. It's nice with this. So this is the Sig MCX. I have it chambered in 300 blackout. Sometimes it really hurts when I go to the range and I'm snapping off rounds like that, knowing that they're at least $1 a round, if not more, if I'm shooting subsonics. So at least using the Mantis X, the BlackbeardX, I can get my practice in snapping off those rounds, and it's not costing me anything beyond the cost of the system here. Fortunately for me, this is provided by Mantis to demonstrate for you guys, and but even so, I have purchased some of their products in the past, and the cost of their products compared to the amount of money that you'll save, it pays for itself pretty quickly. Just playing around there. I'm not really getting a lot of value out of just slapping shots down there. I'm getting some high scores, but I don't know. I think you get more value when you're practicing your fundamentals and you're doing these slow, deliberate shots, practicing moving from your ready position, whether you're in a low ready. Lots of people now are doing the upper ready, or excuse me, the high ready. And there's some other positions too I've seen people do, but like I said, I primarily learned how to go from the low ready. I mean, that's how I did it for years and multiple deployments in the Army. So that's what I'll continue to do. Forgot to put it on fire. Okay, so I was able to knock out just over 200 shots today. A little bit of practice didn't cost me anything except for the cost of the device, a one-time cost, right? So had I gone out and I had to buy ammo, that would have been at least 200 bucks right there, plus range fees. So trying to show that there's a little bit of cost benefit to buying the Mantis product. So let's also take a look at the app and see what sort of data we can see on here and what we can glean from the data. So this first little spider web here shows where your bullets are impacting. It's sort of like kind of like a heat map, I guess you would call it, showing you where you're impacting in relation to the bullseye. Let's flip the page here. So here, this is also showing what it believes to be the most common problems related to issues that I'm having. So I was getting pretty sloppy in there trying to just get some shots out, but there's a lot of different issues here. So it's showing us 15% is poor follow through, right? Sometimes I think I'm good on my follow through, but according to this, 15% of my issues I had poor follow through. So perhaps that's something that I could focus on as I go into my next days of training. 13% were shouldering the rifle. I can see that. So this MCX is a rattler. It's set up in pistol configuration with a pistol brace on it. So the stock, or whatever you want to call it here, the length of pull on it is much shorter. So I'm kind of crunched up behind the firearm there. I don't have the full length of pull like I would have with the standard rifle, so I could see it probably being issues with the shouldering of the rifle. And then I have pushing with firing hand, support hand pushing, pulling with firing hand, support hand pulling, not enough trigger finger. So I guess the one thing I would say about this data that it's showing here on the screen now, this isn't necessarily exactly what's happening. It's a potential cause of your issues. So it's something to look at, but it's not definitive that that is absolutely your problem. But it certainly gives you something to think about, focus on, and try to concentrate on and improve on for your next shot. So perhaps it doesn't become a problem. The next page here, you can just see, here's scatter plot, I guess, where I'm all my shots all over in relation to what it thinks the bullseye should be. And then here, this last page, I think this is trying to show us a Pareto chart of my score. So I had 16 shots that scored 95 or above, 38 shots that were in the 90s range. Most of my shots were in the 85s. So I had 49 shots in the 85 range. And then I start tapering down. Less shots in the 80s, less shots in 75s, and then so on. It looks like I had a 40 in there too. So that's my curve where I'm at. Most of my shots were in that 85 point range. So Let's see what else we can look at. I think if I go back to the training, oops, go back to my history. So if I go here, this is my last iteration. I don't really know how to use those other pages that much, but here's the page that I like the most. This page shows where your bullet tracking is at. So let me scroll back to my first shot. Here's my first shot. So there's 38 shots in this last iteration. The blue is me moving on to target. Yellow is as I'm starting to pull the trigger, and then the red is the follow through after the trigger pull, so it's pretty short there. Follow through was not my problem there. Shot 2. I guess I skipped to 3 for some reason. Oh, sorry. 2's on the bottom. So interestingly, these target patterns, I'm starting in high and then coming down to the target. Usually I'm down at low and then I was coming up. So I've been kind of goofing around here today just to play with the system and try to show you guys a little bit what it's capable of. So some of this is not normal for me. That was an interesting shot. I got a 93 on that one. So that one, higher score there. I'm a little more efficient because I went to the target, didn't have to correct myself to come back, and then you can see when I was pulling the trigger, there was very little relative movement in the trigger pull, so therefore I got a 93 on that one. Let's just flip through these real quick. I want to try to find a low score and a high score to show you guys. 93s or 96 is probably my highest score. I think I got a 99. 97. Yeah, there's a 99. 99.7. Let's look at that. There you go. That's what a 99.7 looks like. Back to the 70, 75. So here's one of my lower scores. So really, that one looks like it was really poor trigger control. So a lot of great data to glean to figure out what you are doing and try to improve without having to go spend a lot of money at the range. Although I admit, I spent a lot of money on this this setup. I got to have a suppressor on it, and I like going to the range and doing live fire. But it's expensive and it hurts after I see the price tag from that. So for me to get some real meaningful training without having to feel the pain in my pocketbook, the Blackbeard for the MCX is the way to go. So hope you liked the video. Take care.